Are you missing out on deeper, more meaningful relationships at home or at work and need to make them better? In this video, we will uncover how stress, low confidence, and negative perceptions distort the way we see others. I will be explaining the path to improvements to help you be clear. Let's learn together and transform together. And it is episode 11, Better Relationships, the path to feeling great. For our new viewers, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, gives us some thumbs up if you enjoy our content. Thank you so much. Our objectives for today: introduction, revision, how perception shapes reality, how stress affects perception of others, how lack of confidence impacts relationships, betrayal in friendships, and moving forward. So, quite an exciting topic, something that we all want to improve. Who doesn't want better relationships? Welcome to the Empowerment Club, the online free version of our 52 Weeks of Empowerment program, located at the Empowerment Club online for the global audience and at the empowermentclub.in for the Indian audience. I welcome you to visit both platforms and join somewhere. And we are on a mission to empower 1 million people. I hope you will be one of them. We are a movement to master stress and confidence, to a path to feeling great. We will feel great if we are confident and if we can manage our stress very well. You work hard to manifest your dreams, but your stress holds you back. Now free yourself in the Empowerment Club. That's what we are here to do, to free ourselves from all kinds of mental limitations and problems that they create. Life is stress, stress is life. We've talked about this throughout all our series, and it's the foundational idea of our program that we need to work with what we have. Life is inherently stressful. It's going to throw all kinds of obstacles at us, and we will have to try and find our way. And stress is life. Life itself is tension, and we need to learn about how to keep just the correct amount of tension to be able to thrive, to succeed, to fulfill our dreams, and to have an amazing time on this planet. Let's go through the revision for those of you who are just joining. We wouldn't want you to be in the dark about what we've been doing, and you're also welcome to watch all the previous videos so you can catch up on the previous topics. Our life is an ocean of stress. Our body is built on stress response. Whatever our mind thinks, good or bad, has an effect on the brain. Brain is the control center. The brain generates brain waves of various speeds to support various mental activities. That's how the brain works, and that's how it communicates to its parts through brainwave activity. We can consciously, with our mind, regulate how we respond to stress. Our mind controls itself, and it also controls stress regulation through awareness. So we are able to influence our brain waves through our mind, through our awareness. Mind is our main object of focus because confidence, mental strength and flexibility, happiness and success, sports and business performance all depend on our mind. We train the mind to become more aware, more open, more spacious, to control stress, to solve problems better, to improve creativity, boost your health and happiness, have better memory and enhance studies. And who doesn't want all of these? I'm sure we all do. I do. How to get what you want. Set correct goals, clean out the emotional charge, train awareness, act from awareness, and keep going. So the fundamental focus of our program, the 52 Weeks of Empowerment, the online program, is to focus on goals, so we can achieve something at the end, in the end, or along the way, or after. We never know when we achieve something, but we do know when we've taken a lot of steps towards what we want. So, set your goals is one of our first lessons. You can find it on the channel in the playlist called Free Lessons. And you can go there and familiarize yourself with my goals process. It will be very helpful to you to start working on yourself right away. The more clearer you are on your goals, the more successful you will be, and the more likely you will be to work consistently towards achieving them. About me, as your coach and teacher, I'm not a journalist, influencer, motivational speaker. I'm a mind coach, a TCM practitioner of acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, an educator and teacher. So I'm here to discuss great stuff that will be of great use to you. My special interest as a coach: confidence, letting go of PTSD and other fears, stress, limiting beliefs, goal achievement, and performance. So, Elvira Burns, myself, has a gamut of troubleshooting and repairing experience and education. Bachelor of English Linguistics, IT Network and Desktop Engineer, Acupuncture and Qigong practitioner, mind coach, personal meditation practice and philosophy studies, research into mental and physical pain and stress. So this is what I have to offer to you, so you can overcome what you're going through. Empowerment is when you feel great. So that's why our program, our websites are called the Empowerment Club. We come together to become empowered and to empower each other. Mind power, where the empowerment comes from, it comes from the mind. You get the tips and tools and techniques to empower yourself so you can empower yourself continuously further on. Stress makes us feel bad, disempowered. So that's the biggest disempowerment in our lives. Important reactions of stress response: it makes our breathing shallower and it tightens our muscles. That's the key two things that help us control stress, and also they're the ones that stop you from performing properly. Both lead to oxygen and nutrients problems, as they are meant for short term responses only. So we get to focus on dialing them down and turning them off when we don't need them. Power of mind relaxes muscles, improves breathing, and turns off excessive stress response. You come back to yourself. So that's the root of our practice and the root of all success and sports and any other performance. Thoughts and emotions can stress us out because they directly activate our brain's stress response system, even when there is no actual danger in front of us. So we just have to think of danger, and that's enough. So our stress response will turn on. Your mind doesn't wait for life to stress you out. It can generate its own stress just by how you think about life. So we get to change our thinking patterns, and how we work with them. Awareness training to control stress response. With our mind, we are able to turn off the stress response and let our system calm down to allow us for clear thinking, um, a joyful state of mind, lots of energy, and all the good things like breakthroughs in performance, creativity, problem solving. And all of these are components of success. Awareness. It's the function of the mind that does the knowing and noticing. Like, for example, right now, you may see me on your screen and you may hear my voice, or you might be able to see the subtitles on your screen, and you also hear sounds from your environment. You may feel the sensations coming from your body and so on. That is being aware. So, your mind's function to be aware is working always. You can't turn it off. Our mind can turn off stress by activating the body's rest and repair system, the parasympathetic nervous system, and calming the brain's alarm centers, fight and flight sympathetic nervous system. Your success, happiness, and health fully depend on how well you can handle and control your stress. And you're already here, part of the online social of the Empowerment Club. So thank you for being here. I look forward to your great transformation and your wonderful learning and practice. Good health is the result of continuous daily management of stress and other factors. And we have a whole episode on good health. Good health is actually not separate from everything else. So you can go to the channel and take a look at the playlists right on the front of the channel. You will see free lessons. And here you will be finding all the previous lessons that we have done and all the future ones that will be coming up. And again, life is stress, stress is life. Mental health and physical health are indivisible. So just remember that. Physiology is to do with the body, and mental factors are to do with the mind. So we need the correct tools also, not just something that we think might work. We must optimize and maximize our health and our life potential daily. I'm sure you will agree with that. We need to take responsibility for our body, mind, and energy. They are the most powerful healers. The biggest point is still how well we handle stress. And that's what we train to be able to do. So let's dive into the topic how perception shapes reality to do with relationships. You only need two people for an argument, right? And you need only three people to have politics. So the complexity starts to grow. If we pause and think about this, relationship within oneself also is linked with a relationship with others. The way we treat ourselves is also the way we treat others. So if we start to find better ways of treating ourselves mentally, physically, we will find the same love and compassion and understanding towards others. We also will find that we are improving our stress response as we're doing that, and we are improving our patience and tolerance towards others. So it's a huge benefit. We don't see people as they are, we see them as we are because we see others through our own perceptions, our own feelings, our own current needs and expectations. Sales. Why am I bringing in sales here? Because everything we do, we constantly sell to each other all the time. We imagine that we want to ask somebody for something and we have to tell them something. And that becomes a huge cause of stress unless we are able to manage it better. So it's of paramount importance to improve our selling skills through mind training so that not only we can sell products and services, but we can sell our good attitude, our great ideas, our projects, our community involvement, all kinds of things. Because you have to be able to explain, you have to be able to be at peace and excited about what you're doing. How negative perceptions distort. When we believe people don't understand me, we stop listening. When we think I'm not enough, we interpret kindness as pity. When we expect rejection, we notice every small sign of it. So our perceptions are working fully. What happens when you let go? When you release old concepts like people can't be trusted, I'm not lovable, everybody judges me, you begin to see differently. Faces look softer, words sound kinder, opportunities appear where there was conflict. So as your perception changes, your stress falls away. You actually start to see it and experience a lot more than you used to. And that is universally true. The neuroscience behind it, your brain filters incoming data to confirm your beliefs. When you drop negative concepts, the brain relaxes its threat filter. This allows genuine empathy and warmth to be perceived again. You literally see and feel a different world when your stress response calms. So the less beliefs and negative concepts you have, the better you will understand and comprehend others around you. Awareness dissolves distortion. Peace doesn't come from fixing others, it comes from seeing them clearly, seeing them as they are, seeing the situation as it is, not as you would like it to be. And I often say that understanding sales process and how each different step moves through the sales process actually is really helpful. You don't get excited until you sign the deal. That's when you get excited, when you've got the signature on the contract or you've made a sale in whichever way it happens. So you see each step as it is without building false hopes, without adding extra details like, oh, they were nice to me, they listened to me, and they're nice people, but they have no intention to buy. So you get excited for no reason, and then that sets you up for huge disappointment later on. So to prevent disappointment, we see clarity. We see things and people as they are. The neuroscience behind it, your brain filters incoming data to confirm your beliefs. When you drop negative concepts, the brain relaxes its threat filter. This allows genuine empathy and warmth to be perceived again. When the mind softens, people appear softer too. You haven't changed them, you change the filter in yourself. So you're changing your own perceptions, and that's what allows you to see people and things differently and situations. Change your concepts, change your perception, change your relationships. So everything starts with letting go of unhelpful, negative, obstructing concepts. The transformation begins inside. That's how powerful mind training is. Everything else is just a patch that will fall off. With the mind training, we go right to the root. And as we spoke in the previous videos, the root of us is our inner perfection. And our inner perfection gets obscured by the clouds of all kinds of concepts, thoughts, emotions. So if we remove those clouds, we end up with the blue sky of our perfection. So you just need to remember you have to remove stuff, not add stuff. Awareness dissolves distortion. So that's what we work with training the awareness to dissolve all kinds of distortion. How stress affects perception of others. Stress changes brain function. When you are under stress, your brain shifts from the prefrontal cortex, the rational, empathetic, big picture part, and the involvement of the right brain hemisphere, to the amygdala, the fear and the survival center. And that's a very logical center to do with the left brain hemisphere. That means you stop analyzing situations calmly, you start interpreting things as threats or personal attacks. Subtle cues, tone, words, expressions get misread as criticism or rejection. In relationships, this makes you react instead of respond. So you're basically a stressed out person and you can't see past your stress and you can't feel past your stress. Stress narrows attention. Stress activates what's called attentional narrowing. Your brain zooms in on potential danger and ignores neutral or positive signals. So, under stress, you notice the one harsh word but miss the 10 kind words. You remember the argument but not the apology. You see that what might go wrong, not what's working well. This creates a biased negative view of the other person, even if they're being supportive. Stress amplifies emotional sensitivity. When cortisol, the stress hormone, is high, your emotional threshold drops. You become more easily hurt, offended, or defensive. So if you notice that, calm down first. Actually, we are learning physiology for what purpose? So that we can control it. A simple comment feels like criticism, a neutral expression looks like disapproval, silence feels like rejection. The mind projects its own tension outward, so even small things feel personal or threatening. I'm sure we can all relate to this. This is happening all the time. Stress distorts memory and interpretation. The hippocampus, involved in the memory, and the amygdala fear response work together under stress, but not always accurately. Isn't that interesting? You start remembering past conflicts more vividly and may attach those old emotions to current interactions. The essence of PTSD. If something bad happens, you're going to expect it in similar situations and you're going to be ready with all the stress and tension for it. The result, you're not seeing this moment. You're not seeing through the past. You interpret your partner's or friend's actions based on old emotional residues. And that's how everything goes. We have a database in our minds of old emotional residues. And we have to clean those residues to improve our perception. Stress reduces empathy. When your body is in fight or flight mode, the brain prioritizes self protection, not connection. Empathy, patience, and curiosity drop. Instead of asking, why might they feel this way? You think, why are they doing this to me? That internal shift from understanding to self defense creates emotional distance. And here we've spoken about this before, and I also discussed this in my book, which you can purchase on Amazon. The fact that we can think w- instead of how the people feel, we think, why they're doing this to me. You need to remember that nobody hurts anybody out of a happy, wonderful, joyous state of mind. So the reason they're hurting you is that they're not in that wonderful state of mind. They're in a bad state of mind. So knowing that's the only way anyone can hurt anyone, being in the bad state of mind, you develop compassion for others and you know yourself are the same. So there's the equality of everyone. Everyone works the same way and everyone acts unkindly out of their own miserable state of mind. So then our own stress response calms down upon recognition of this. And that's great because then we become more rational. That's the thing. We need access to rationality at the time where we are overly emotional. And recognizing the situation is what helps us dial down stress and bring back logic. Stress alters nonverbal communication. Even if you say the right words, your tone, facial expressions, and micro gestures change. Stress tightens facial muscles, shortens speech rhythm, and lowers voice warmth. Others subconsciously pick up on that tension and mirror it back. That's how stress spreads between people without a word being said. And animals definitely pick up on the vibrations, on the attitude, on the smells, and someone who's angry, someone who's dangerous is also being feared by the animals. The result, relationship distortion. Under stress, you see threat instead of misunderstanding, criticism instead of feedback, distance instead of difference. But when calm returns, the same people often seem softer, more supportive, and more loving because the filter of fear is gone. That's actually the reason people drink, take drugs, is because those temporarily remove the filters. But the filters are the perceptions. So they're just getting temporarily blocked. If you there is such a thing as blocking a filter, but the body gets um, out of control, and then everybody becomes nice. Whoever you look at is nice and loving, and in fact, without the influence of these substances, you would not be feeling that way. You'd be quite negative. Summary. Stress doesn't just change how you feel, it changes what you see. When you regulate your nervous system, you reclaim clarity, empathy, and the ability to see people as they truly are, not as your stress imagines them to be. So that's the benefit of mind training and its strength. It's absolutely of paramount importance if you wish to improve your relationships of all kinds. It starts from cleaning the mind. How lack of confidence impacts relationships, since our second biggest interest is confidence, because with confidence, we are able to do all sorts of things, talk, ask. These are the most important things to get anything in life, to talk and ask. And that's what we have to do. That's what relationships are for, to talk and ask, fundamentally. It starts with self perception. When you lack confidence, you subconsciously believe you're not enough, not smart enough, attractive enough, lovable enough, or worthy enough. And enough goes on. This inner insecurity becomes the lens through which you see every interaction. So instead of connecting freely, you're constantly monitoring how you're being perceived. You can't be fully present when your mind is busy wondering, do they still like me? Did I say something wrong? That self doubt creates emotional distance. It also creates a very strong feeling of me and them. So your attention, instead of being on others when you're trying to interact, is fully locked on yourself. That's actually how the actors train. They train for years to just take attention of themselves. We can do it much faster with our awareness training. If you have taken attention of yourself, you can actually be fully aware of what the other person is saying, at least, but you will also be aware of their nonverbal communication, and you can interact with them a lot easier and a lot more productively. You seek validation instead of connection. Without inner confidence, relationships turn into a search for approval. You begin to rely on others to tell you you are okay instead of feeling it within yourself. Boy, we know that. This can help lead to people pleasing, saying yes when you mean no, overgiving, trying to earn love instead of sharing it, emotional dependency, needing constant reassurance to feel safe. When love becomes a performance, it stops being authentic for both people. So you're actually trying to do something instead of being something. Trying means stress. You struggle with boundaries. Confidence creates healthy boundaries, the quiet knowing of what's acceptable and what's not. Without it, you fear that settling limits will make people leave. Let them leave. If that's what not is on for you, let them all leave. Let them all go. You want to be happy and you want to feel great. That's the only way. If some people do not want to be part of that great feeling, never mind. So you tolerate disrespect, avoid difficult conversations, suppress your needs to keep the peace because you are fearful. So if you let go of those fears, you will be able to do this very easily. But over time, resentment builds and the relationship weakens from emotional imbalance. So what do we have to do for it not to weaken? To stop emotional resentment build up by cleaning it out and not creating new one. Simple, right? Well, that's what we have the program for. So you can understand how to do it. You misinterpret others' behavior. Low confidence distorts how you read others. A delayed text feels like a rejection. A busy partner feels like abandonment. A disagreement feels like a threat to the whole relationship. The truth is, the less secure you feel inside, the more likely you are to project those fears outward and misread neutral signals as personal. I know it might sound a lot, but the essence of it is fear. If you let go of fear, you will feel free. In freedom, you don't need disagreements. You just don't have them. You attract and tolerate unbalanced dynamics. Yes, remember that story when you go to a job and you get a not a very nice manager, and then you go to the next job and you get exactly the same not very nice manager behavior and exactly the same patterns. And you wonder, why is the same thing happening to me? When you don't value yourself, you subconsciously attract people who confirm that belief, critical, controlling, or emotionally unavailable partners. Healthy people may feel drained, trying to constantly reassure you. As a result, relationships either become unequal, you give more than you receive, or exhausting, you constantly doubt the love that is there. You diminish your authentic expression. A confident person speaks from the truth, a self doubting person speaks from fear. So instead of being open, playful, or creative, you become cautious, self editing, and restrained. That protective layer hides your real personality, and others sense something missing even if they can't explain what. It's just our true nature of perfection is buried under the clouds. So you can't see the blue sky behind the gray clouds. The clouds Once they are gone, the blue sky will just appear by itself. So we're working with the clouds. We could call it the 52 weeks of clearing the clouds from the sky of our mind. That will be very poetic. You can't fully receive love. If deep down you believe you don't deserve love, compliments, or kindness, you unconsciously block them. You deserve praise. Oh, it's nothing. You deflect praise. It's nothing. So if somebody praises you, you dismiss it. Question affection. Are you sure? And sabotage moments of closeness. Love requires receiving energy, and confidence is what allows you to truly let it in. Basically, the more unobscured your mind of blue sky is, the less you will even have even ideas of that. You will just be natural. The turnaround. When confidence grows, when we remove the clouds, you communicate openly without fear of rejection. You express needs clearly and calmly. You attract people who mirror your self-respect. You stop chasing love and begin sharing it. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It means quiet self-trust. It is the space where connection feels natural and love feels safe because you feel free. You're not burdened by fearful concepts. They don't create unnecessary, unnatural tension. So you are free, happy, and at ease and aware. Key. When confidence grows, you communicate openly without fear of rejection. You express needs clearly and calmly. You attract people who mirror your self respect. You stop chasing love and begin sharing it. So remember this. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You need to be present and real. When you build confidence, you stop performing for love and start experiencing it. And how do we build confidence? We build it by removing what blocks it, not by attaching something. But let's touch on something that plagues everybody in life: the broken friendships. According to a 2009 Dutch study by psychologist Gerald Mollenhorst, about half of our friendships change every 7 years. Our studies support the idea that close friendships tend to evolve or fade over time, especially due to life transitions, work, marriage, moving, etc. Only about 1 in 3 close friendships last beyond 7 years without major change or distance. So again, we're coming back to the truth of the ever-changing life reality and people changing and people moving about. And so do we. Betrayal in friendship isn't common. Research shows that betrayal, breaking of trust, is not rare among close friends. Often betrayal doesn't come from strangers, but from those who we emotionally are vulnerable with. Common forms of betrayal: gossip or breach of confidence, emotional neglect or abandonment, romantic entanglements, envy or competition. The feeling of betrayal is more intense when it comes from a long term friend because the emotional investment is deeper. So, the more we invest in the fear of losing somebody, the more stress we receive, and we never know how people act. We never know what they will do. We never know how they will treat us. There's absolutely no guarantee whatsoever. No one can give it. I know it's not nice, but that's the reality. So if we let go of all kinds of expectations, hopes, and fears, our life will be a lot easier and our disappointment will be a lot less in magnitude. We will let go faster and easier, and we will not be sick or depressed or anything that comes with it. And the disruption will be minimal. Are long-term friends more likely to betray? Statistically, betrayal is more likely to hurt when it comes from long-term or close friends, but they aren't necessarily more likely to betray. What happens is the closer and longer the bond, the higher the expectations and emotional dependency. So any breach feels deeper, almost like a personal collapse. So attachment, which is what the Buddhists always talk about, don't be attached, meaning do not generate excessive expectations of anybody because that's your imagination. So if you understand this is all your imagination, everything you think, that alone frees you from a lot of expectations and a lot of hurt if something happens. So the summary here, the longer the friendship, the deeper the wound of betrayal. Trust once broken in a deep bond doesn't just dissolve the relationship, it can shatter self perception and worldview. It can create traumas and lead to PTSD and poor ability to form new friendships. So in our best interest to let go of all the old baggage. And that's what we do in our 52 weeks of empowerment program. We let go of old baggage and we become more resilient towards future possible baggage accumulation. Moving forward. So we're coming to our final part of the lesson. The war with relationships, how do we win it? Good question, isn't it? It is the war. When you are stressed, you can't properly hear, see, think, understand, function. So your data from all your senses is not being interpreted correctly, properly, or in its entirety because your body's resources are diverted to saving yourself. Every positive change in our life must start with letting go of mental garbage. Remember, because the sky is there, you don't need to manufacture the sky. You need to remove the clouds. You need to clean the clouds of the mind. And the good old IT concept, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out, which of course relates to the data, the quality of the data. If you have information that's unreliable, untrustworthy, incorrect, you will produce, if you work with it, you will produce reports, results based on that, which will be equally garbage in nature. But also, garbage in means you have put in garbage, your perceptions, your traumas. So garbage has to come out. You can't just live with garbage. You shouldn't. You can, but you shouldn't. Why should you? You want to be free, happy. I can't imagine why you would have a reason to keep your garbage inside. So we take our garbage out, we put it down, we let others take it away. So in the same way, we through awareness training exercises in our program, we dissolve all that and we become free and unimpeded. Everybody wants to be unstoppable, unstoppable. So what stops you? Your garbage. So just remember next time, everything that stops you, whatever is in your mind, it's just tell yourself that's the garbage. It has to go. Mind awareness training, overcoming the past hurts through letting go, becoming resilient to new hurts. That's the essence of becoming free. The essence of becoming happier, more successful, more having better relationships with everyone, and having the courage to let go of something that is totally useless and drains you. The main war is within our own minds. That's where it all happens. That's where the daily practice comes in. So we need a daily practice to do these things. And that's why we have 52 weeks of daily practice so we can really transform ourselves very well. 52 weeks, 365 days. That's a really great foundation. You will feel a huge difference. And something from me. Adopt an attitude of being everyone's best friend. This protects you from anything others do or not do to you because normally everyone complains, I'm such a good friend, I'm a good person, I've been good. Why are they treating me this way? Well, because your friendship is conditional. You have a condition that you are a good person and they must treat you well. Well, and then they have a bad mood, they're having difficulties, and when they don't, you don't want to understand them. So if you remind yourself that you are just everybody's good friend, matter what, no matter what they do, because it is your internal state. It's how you choose to be. That gives you the joy, the strength, and the stability to also remember that when somebody doesn't treat you well, they're going through difficulties. But you still have friendly attitude. You are aware that anything can be expected from others, full spectrum of good, bad, and anything in between. You can only control your reaction and perception of it. So that's why we train the mind, not trying to control the people. It's like an old fable from the Buddhist teachings where would you rather cover the entire earth with leather, or would you rather make the sole for your shoes out of leather and then you can walk anywhere? So we typically try to cover the whole earth with leather so it's comfortable for us to walk everywhere. In fact, it's a lot easier. It doesn't even work. And it's a lot easier to just put the shoes on and walk. We need to clear and let go of emotional charge of past events to unblock our mind and body. We can remove the mental blocks through understanding your physiology and awareness training. So in our online, social media, YouTube lessons, we're focusing predominantly on the physiology, on the mental factors understanding. But then in the 52 weeks paid program, I take care of you and I help you through the practical side of it. Energy blocks are thoughts, emotions, past memories, perceptions, beliefs, future projections. Young and old had some share of bad events in their life, significant stress that created a block, a trauma initially, and a lingering PTSD after. Our mindset covered up by all kinds of events. And this is by no means an exhaustive list, but the deaths of others, what happened at school, in kindergarten, at the university, at college, so on. What happened in the family, what anybody said or did to you or you did to others, childbirths, sickness, failures, losses, humiliation, and so on. Such events also create limiting beliefs because you become limited. You feel stress, you feel pain, you feel tension from all these, and you feel fear from all these past events. So you try to protect yourself very hard from anything that can happen again in a similar way. And then you develop limiting beliefs. I can't be loved again. I'm not good enough. There's, I don't deserve success, and so on. There's a whole list, by no means exhaustive. And we go through this in our program, of course. A breakthrough will happen only when you overcome the mental factors that held you back. And you know that. You achieve quiet state of mind and get the flexibility to bring back the quiet mind anytime you need. I'm sure in your life you have felt these moments where you let go, you dropped it, and then something changed for the better. Well, we can make that happen at will. We just have to train a little bit, understand the mechanisms of it. So once you understand the mechanisms of body, mind, you become your own boss. That's what I want you to become, your own boss, not someone to control you and someone telling you. You develop your own wisdom. You connect with your own wisdom. You perform unaffected by excessive physical tension from emotional charge. You don't overthink. Just do it is how it happens. So if you are not fearful of something, you just do it. And that's where we want to be. We want to have our goals, have our vision, um, write down what we need to do, and we just want to go and do it and keep doing it until either we get the goal or we change the goal. Unmanaged stress reshapes the body deeply over time, almost like it recarves the system inside out. So, if you've been under a lot of stress, if you've developed a burnout, this is a perfect opportunity to unburden yourself, let it all go, let your brain relax, and shrink the overactive parts, the angry parts, and enlarge the memory parts because memory gets lost with burnout because the brain parts shrink, so they can't work properly. So our program, the 52 weeks of empowerment, is unique in the world. It's cutting edge. It's the best thing ever. Available 24/7 with your coach, myself, vested in your improvement. Nobody else has a program like this. And I have another video that describes the whole thing. You will find it also in the free lessons playlist. So it's the introduction to the 52 weeks of empowerment. You can also support us by buying my book, and there will be a link in the description below. This is where I talk about personal stories. You can see my photography, and we get to explore transformation of stress and anxiety into mental strength and success. We need to learn to flow like a river around obstacles, to move like a palm tree in the wind. And that's why you see a lot of palm tree imagery in the book and in my training materials, because this is the mascot for mental flexibility for the Empowerment Club. Some palm trees bend up to 50 degrees in the wind to avoid breaking. So we have to be the same. So it's a nice thing to think about when a strong wind is blowing and the storm is coming. The palm tree is able to sway nicely, and just like the Tao Te Ching, the old Chinese classic said, the unbroken tree is easily broken. The unbending tree is easily broken. So, in the same way, I invite you to join us to become a bending tree that is not easily broken, a palm tree. So, we have various playlists on our channel. Please take a look. And we are here to embrace the stress of life and to work with it and to bend it to our advantage. So there will be links in the description to both platforms, and here you have the discounts for both platforms. Thank you very much for listening to the lesson. Train your mind with us and become successful, happier, healthier. It's a self-paced program. We have the apps, but I suggest listening to everything on the desktop or laptop, because there is information and it's for your benefit. So it'll be easier, less stressful if you watch it on a bigger screen. And once again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Um, Give us likes if you enjoyed the content. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified once we release our next content. And I really appreciate that, because this will help us help many people, reach many people. And our vision is to help 1 million people, which I'm sure is totally doable. So thank you for being here. Thank you very much for spending the time on educating yourself, and I congratulate you on being interested in self-improvement. I'm wishing you well. I'm wishing you success, fulfillment of all your wishes and dreams. And until we meet again, take care. Bye.